Hello and welcome to Mediumship Matters with me, Hannah Macintyre. Oh, that just sums it up today. And I'm about to say something even more ridiculous, which is it's episode no idea on season 2. You can tell this is going to be a good one. Yeah, who knows? What day is it? What time is it? Where am I? Who am I? Nobody really knows. So hi, I hope you're in a more organised and switched on state than I am and that you're having a lovely day. So today I'm going to be answering some long overdue listener questions. Apologies to all of you that have been waiting for me to finally get myself in gear. It's funny, isn't it? Sometimes with these podcasts, I think, oh, I'm not sure what I want to talk about next. I better ask some questions, get a load of questions in, and then Spirit go, here's what we want you to talk about. And I go, oh, okay. And then that takes a couple of months and I don't get to answer your questions for ages. So it's not personal. I'm just disorganized and flying by the seat of my pants, as always. So, firstly, I want to answer Lauren Sherlock's email. And this also ties in with one of the emails that you have sent, Ina, on spirituality, connecting with spirit, and seeing lights. So let me read you Lauren's email. I want to thank you for the work that you do, especially your podcast. I love listening to you and you have helped me greatly in my healing journey, which I'm so proud of. Yay. I would like to ask you about signs from loved ones in spirit and ways in which they can communicate with us. My beautiful mum passed in August 2021 due to COVID. She was a firm believer in signs and taught me how to ask for signs, spot them. So I had no doubt that she would do her best to send me lots of signs that she was still around. The first real feeling I had of her being around me actually started in the immediate hours after she passed. I was lying in my bed, exhausted and trying, but failing, to get to sleep. With my eyes shut, I suddenly could see vivid purple lights moving around, almost like a desktop screensaver. They were incredibly bright and bold shades of purple. My mum's favourite colour was purple, but the colour resonates deeper within my family as it is associated with Kidney Research UK. A rare and genetic form of kidney disease runs in my family. My mum, along with multiple members of our family, have all received transplants. I've continued to see the purple lights often, usually when I'm falling asleep, but recently I have seen them with my eyes open. Sometimes I feel that they appear almost on cue now, though I'm trying not to get ahead of myself. Could this really be my mum or her energy showing to me? I would love to believe that I'm on the verge of a spiritual awakening, as I'm receiving more and more signs and vivid dreams of her. I would really appreciate your thoughts on my experience, and thank you again. Well, thank you, Lauren. Thank you for taking the time to email a message, and thank you for waiting so patiently for my reply. In a nutshell, yes, I absolutely do believe that that is your mum showing you that she's with you. And I know that naysayers would say it's your brain and it's the blood vessels and it's this, that, and the other. But I think with all signs, the trouble is they can always be explained away by the rational intelligence that's in your mind. But there's also that rising of the knowing within you. And this is always the problem. Not related, but kind of related, so bear with me. I started watching Tyler Henry on Netflix yesterday. Now, I've only watched one episode, so I don't have an opinion yet, although I do rather like him. I think he's very sweet. Anyway, after watching that episode, I Googled him, and then I saw an article on The Guardian written about it. And the journalist had just gone through and dissed every piece of evidence that he had given as generic and could apply to anybody, and that's how mediums work. But I had watched that show and he had said, this lady has a connection with a hummingbird, and it's not the actual bird, it's the hummingbird as a symbol, and she had a hummingbird tattoo. That's pretty spot on. And this is always the problem with mediumship for believers, somewhat, but also non-naysayers particularly. So this is the problem. every sign that the spirit world will bring you can be explained away. And so it's very, very hard for them to give you something that is concrete enough. And on occasion, we do get things that absolutely blow our socks off. And then when we get them, believe it or not, in the moment, you'll be so amazed and so grateful. And then a month later, you'll already have started accepting it and wondering if it really was as magnificent as you thought it was, etc., etc., etc. That's the human condition. So Lauren and Ina, I do believe that this is spirit working with you. Lauren, I do believe that this is your mum working with you. It's easier to receive this stuff when you're meditating or you're falling asleep because you are trying to quiet that part of your brain that will tell you it's a load of rubbish. The analytical, questioning, human part of yourself starts to rest when you go to sleep. It's why most of us hear from our loved ones in spirit in our dreams and as we're falling asleep, because it's when that rational part has rested enough for us to be able to receive it. I believe that they're around us all the time. And your mum sounds like a bit of a badass, Lauren. So what I would suggest is you acknowledge the lights and you tell her they're amazing, and then you ask her for something different. And in that asking for something different and unexpected, you will be able to open your energy field up to receive it in a different way. And you'll still get the lights. She's not going to take the lights away, but it will just give you a chance to explore it and have it in a different way. My friend Amanda, who I've mentioned before on the podcast, hey Amanda, see you tonight. She is really great with law of attraction, really, really amazing. And she's taught me so much because there was so much that spirit was working with me on that I didn't realize was law of attraction or how that worked. Anyway, she's been doing Instagram posts about law of attraction and things like that. And she was talking about asking for something from the universe. Obviously, she comes at it from a law of attraction point of view. I'm coming at it from a spirit world point of view. So asking your spirit team or asking the universe for something specific. So she asked for a pebble with a flat bottom. I then commented on her post, just saying I'd never really thought about asking for things for fun, trying to attract something into my experience just for the sheer because I can of it. So in that moment, as I wrote that message to her, I put, I'm going to ask for a blue feather, and didn't think a lot more of it. And I've been waiting for my blue feather. I've been waiting. And then I kept thinking, maybe I'm not in alignment. What's going on? You know, all the questioning, which actually then gets in the way, blah, 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 blah. And I was on Instagram and there was a post with some jewellery, and one of the necklaces in the picture had a blue feather on it. And I thought in that moment, is that my blue feather? And I thought, no, I'm sure if it's from spirit, it'll be bigger than that somehow. Refreshed my Instagram feed, and right at the top was this beautiful, vibrant blue bird covered in blue feathers. It was absolutely hilarious. But it was hilarious because I'd just had that thought, I'm sure the spirit world will bring me something bigger than that. And that's the problem with signs and things like that. You could explain that away to anybody in that moment and it wouldn't seem, I could say, I got this blue bird, I asked for blue feathers, and they'd go, oh, right. But it was also the fact that it was in response to my thought, in response to that moment where I said, I think they'll do bigger than that. And then they did so much bigger. They gave me an entire bird covered in feathers. That made it so momentous. And this is the thing with your mum, Lauren. She's giving you these beautiful purple lights. God, I'd love to see that. Amazing. And not just because purple's her favourite colour, but also because of the kidney connection. But also it's a lovely, gentle, playful, fun way of your mum letting you know that she's with you. And that really does sum up the essence of your mum, doesn't it? That's who she is. So I hope this helps make you feel confident that that is a sign, but also confident in saying to your mum, love that mum, thanks so much, don't stop that, but bring me something else, and just being open to it. And I'm going to say, Lauren, both times that I have said this to you on this podcast, I've seen a number plate flash up in my head. So keep an eye out for your mum communicating with you some way through a number plate. I wonder if she's going to send you a number plate with her initials on or something. Just keep seeing it, so I'm going with it. There we go. Next up is Lorelli. Always listening, Lorelli, and I really do appreciate your support as always. Now, here's a good question, guys. Get ready, rubbing my hands. I was listening to you saying that we need to do the work, otherwise we will not get it done. Makes sense. And at the same time, you mentioned law of attraction, where we receive what we put in front of our mind's eye as a goal or objective, and not interfere in the way the universe provides. Trust the process. I keep hearing that in my mind all the time. So what do we need to do then? What's the work we need to do? Is it about our vibration? I'm glad you asked. Sorry for being confusing. Yes, it is about your vibration. So always we're progressing forwards, and we're always thinking about things that we want to manifest in our lives. And the way that my spirit guides have always shown it to me is, if you imagine yourself going up a staircase, that's your vibration, your frequency. And say, for example, you think of something that you want, and energetically what you want is 10 steps up on the stairs. If you try and push yourself to get 10 steps up on the stairs, so you try and create things that you think will get you there quicker, you're actually just putting Lego bricks all over the stairs, which is going to make it harder to get to where you want. So what you have to do is stop trying to push where you want to be on the stairs. Stop trying to make that happen, but try and match your frequency to the higher frequency of 10 stairs up. As I always say, all roads lead to self-love. And so you will know this because you were really involved with me and working with me and all of that kind of stuff. I quit my membership program in November. Beginning of November it finished. It stopped, 1st of November. It's now the 15th of March when I'm recording this, and I still am recovering. I still am trying to self-heal, raise my vibration, work through all the stuff and get all my Lego bricks off the stairs that I put in the way. And so I've literally tipped so many boxes of Lego onto the stairs that it's going to take me quite some time to get them all out of the way. That's where I'm at. And this is part of the problem. We think that everything should be instantaneous, but you have to get yourself into a vibrational match with what you want. And so it's not about working towards what you want, it's about working on yourself. Abraham Hicks will tell you to have lots of naps. I love that. It's given me permission to be even more lazy than I already was. But it's also about honouring yourself, looking after yourself. I just taught angelic Reiki at the weekend, and we spent a long time talking about how being a Reiki healer is not just about sitting in front of somebody doing the healing and leaving. It's also about being Reiki in your life and making sure that you honor yourself and you listen to yourself and you apply boundaries and barriers and you say no when you need to, and you don't eat absolute crap all the time. You can eat it sometimes, guys, don't worry. But it's all of those kind of things that provide that honoring, that help you to rise in vibration. And it's also on the flip side about what you put in. So as all of you know by now, hopefully, I don't watch the news. I find it too negative, so that lowers my vibration. So I protect my vibration from it. And there are times when I watch it and I get involved and then I get all het up and worried about what the future's going to hold and where we're going to be and what's going to happen to my children. And then I know that I've taken a step back on my staircase and I'm going to have to work now to get myself back to where I was. I read teen fiction because I'd much rather think about somebody's romantic encounter with a vampire or what am I reading at the moment? Something to do with prince and princesses, and so it's a bit like Hunger Games. It's a bit like Hunger Games and Twilight had a baby and added princesses and princes into the mix. I'm loving it. I'm bloody loving it. The selection, that's what it's called. It's total easy, requires nothing of me. I'm totally into it, can't stop reading it, but it's not causing me trauma. I don't go to bed trying to process what I've read, that kind of stuff. And that's what works for me. Other people will find other things. I also have to spend an awful lot of time on my own. As my husband will attest, I get very grumpy if I'm around him and people too much. just need a lot of downtime. So you have to find those things that work for you and feed them. Find the things that feel good and do more of them. That's your work, and that will get you to where you want to be. And it's about trusting and knowing that what you want is coming, and your job is to get out of the way of it coming. The spirit world, before I knew it was law of attraction, I had Abraham Hicks's way. My spirit team would show it to me very much like all of your stuff is if you imagine your energy like a pint glass, and there's the pure part of your spirit there, but it's also full of noise and all of your worries and all of your, is this going to happen, is that going to happen, all of your thoughts, all of your actions. And actually you've got to create enough space, you've got to tip enough liquid out of that pint glass to enable the spirit world to fill it with their energy. I hope that makes sense. So hope that's clear as mud always. If it isn't clearer, still email me, call me out on it, because I yab away on these podcasts and go down all sorts of rabbit holes, and then sometimes I realise that I haven't even said what I said I was going to say, but I still put them out there anyway. You're welcome. So next up is Iris, and Iris messaged me to ask why she can't see signs from her mum, and will she come to see me? I often wonder, does mum know how I'm coping? Loads of things you have said make sense. Good luck. Well, thank you, Iris. I think your mum is with you all the time. I don't think she's gone anywhere. I think the idea that the spirit world have gone is it's not how it works. We are in the spirit world. They are not separate to us. We are in it. We are like the virtual reality headset that the spirit world are wearing. And your mum is right beside you. And it's really hard, Iris, because sometimes the greatest need means that you don't receive things with such a sense of ease. Your need to receive a sign is your Lego bricks on your step, which is making it harder. And that's the problem. So your mum is trying to work through things, and I'm being told that you often see things and you often feel things, and then you think you're making it up or explain it away. So your mum is really trying to let you know that she's there. So again, do what I did with the blue feathers. Be specific. Say to your mum, I want a yellow butterfly, or I want something to do with a star, or whatever works for you, Iris, whatever pops into your head, just ask your mum for that and then give her some time. My blue feathers took a little while. It wasn't instantaneous, but it was wonderful. So that's what I would suggest in that scenario. But the spirit world are always with us. Our loved ones don't go anywhere. They're with all of us all the time. So I've got to go onto Facebook and find all of my questions that were in my VIPs group. Here we are, that you guys also wanted answering. Okay, so first up is Andy Potter's question. Hi, Andy. Hannah, I always listen to your podcast. I feel I'm spiritual, but I just don't seem to be able to connect. Just wondering if you have any ideas. Oh, look at this, guys. There's a theme. There's a theme coming through today. Again, vibration. So if you think about that staircase again. Now think about that staircase being 1,000,000 steps high, okay? And spirit worlds are right at the top of those 1,000,000 steps. Now they, of course, are always with us. So this is just the way of getting your brain into understanding vibration and frequency and rising. So spirit world's frequency is right at the top of those steps. And what our work is when we want to connect to the spirit world, we all think, all of us, me included, that it's going to be about them coming to be with us and us experiencing them. And it is to some extent, but your experience of the spirit world is limited by what step on which you stand. So when you want to really connect to spirit and really feel spirit and know that spirit are with you, you have to work on your vibration. Because if their vibration is so out of your remit, you're not going to be able to feel it because it's just too alien to you. Your vibration can't accept it. So when you want to work with the spirit world, your work is actually to work on you, find things that make you happy, quiet your mind, declutter your energy, declutter your home, allow yourself periods of quiet, not to receive. So many people I know go into a quiet space and then go, Spirit, I'm here in the quiet space. Spirit, are you here in the quiet space? Spirit, I want to hear you in the quiet space. It's not about that. Go into the quiet space just to be quiet, just to finish that thought that you started 2 months ago that you haven't quite got round to yet, to allow yourself to think about the things that are happening to you so you can release them. On the healing journey, so many people just ignore the stuff that keeps coming up for them. But actually, if you want to release it, you have to allow the processing to take place. And that is how you will feel spirit with you. And as always, it's about receiving, not seeking, which is really, really bloody hard. It's hard for me still now. But my best results from the spirit world are always when it's unexpected, when they just surprise me, when they come in and talk to me, and because they're around all the time anyway, rather than me going, are you there? Are you there? Are you there? I think you're there. Is that you? Can I feel you? Are you there? Because that's just the Lego bricks getting in the way of me stepping up to the right frequency. So it's just about finding your happiness, connecting with your soul, because it's through your soul that your connection to the rest of the spirit world grows. So connect to yourself first, always. Right, and then I've got Una. Hi, Hannah. I can connect, but I close myself completely off, and then I can't really connect again unless I've been to a medium or spiritual healer. Okay, same thing. When you are around different energies, we absorb those energies. So you all know this because this is part of your experience. You all know this on some level. When you're around somebody that makes you feel good, you feel good. When you're around somebody that moans all the time, you feel bad. That is the impact on your vibration. So what's happening to you, Una, is you're jump starting yourself. So you're going to see a medium or a healer. You're sitting not only in their energy, but hopefully if they're a good one, they are opening you up to your power and your potential, and you're starting to believe in it. It's always been there, Una. It hasn't disappeared. It's just that they give you permission to believe that it's there, and you give yourself that permission because you've seen them. So then you open up to that energy and you go, oh my goodness, it's back. But it never really went anywhere. It was just your beliefs. Your beliefs are holding you back on a step that you don't need to stand on because you're actually 6 steps ahead. So just allow yourself to be on that higher step, and you are. It's as simple as that for you. So I hope that makes sense. And do what I've just said to Andy. Do the honouring yourself, looking after yourself. I mean, give yourself a week, all of you listening, give yourself a week where you just do what you want to do rather than what you tell yourself you have to. Take a week off work if you've got enough holiday allowance. But just start trying to open up to that, even if it's a weekend, even if it's a day. See how hard it is, how much you don't actually listen to yourself, how long it's been since you said to you, what do I want to do today, not what do I feel like I should do today. My husband despairs of me. I mean, if any of you have seen my TikTok for this morning, you will know I didn't get out of bed till 10:30 today. I got up, kids went off to school, I saw them, got back in bed in my pajamas with my cup of coffee, and I scrolled through TikTok for an hour in bed. It was lovely. But there's washing that needs doing. There's things that need putting away, sorting out, tidying. But I'm very good now at giving myself that permission. And so play with it, guys. See how you get on with it. Try it. I bet you it's harder than you think it is. Okay. Next question, Tina. Hi, Hannah. Could you be a psychic mediumship but not believe in spirit guides? This question is not coming from a religious perspective, and this question is not because I don't believe, But could the information we are picking up on just be energy transference and being intuitive? I ask this because at times I don't feel or sense spirit, I just seem to know the information. Why do we have to believe in spirit guides if we can't prove or relate to that idea theory? Could the information be from our higher self? Yes. So, spirit guides is an interesting concept because I think I've mentioned on this podcast recently that actually my teaching from spirit about spirit guides has changed. And it doesn't invalidate the old teaching, but it's about understanding, depending on which stair we are on the staircase, mic drop, boom, our teaching needs to adjust and shift to match that. So at the beginning, for the majority of people, not everybody, it helps to envisage spirit guides as individual entities, normally in human form, let's be honest, normally a Native American, because that helps our brain to open up to it and go, that's a spiritual person who's come here to guide me. That's a teacher. Do I really believe that these are Native Americans? No. Do I really believe that these are individuals? No. I believe that we are connecting to Source. And I believe that that part of Source manifests itself individually for us to make it accessible. I no longer talk or work with individual guides. The information just comes, I just give it. I don't know where it's coming from. I just know it's there. And just like we, our higher selves, are individual aspects of Source, we are all a part of Source. That's the beauty of it. We're all part of the oneness and all an individual simultaneously. Of course, that information could be coming from your soul because your soul is connected to the one. Mind blown. Did that make sense? I hope so. Joe Howard asked, are you able to pick up on animal spirits? I'm so sure my dog is still around and I'm sure I hear him still. I had to let him go in the summer of 2020. And yes, Joe, I do believe that pets are still around us. It's an interesting one and I don't have all of the answers about this, but I do believe that for some of us, pets are a part of Source that has manifested into an animal to give us what we need. And so, of course, you still feel them. You still have that presence. I remember reading a book on spirit guides. I'm trying to see it on my shelf. I can't remember who wrote it, on animal spirit guides. And it said if you want to, no, I don't know. If you want to look at animal spirit guides, look first at the animals that are in your life and what they're teaching you. Exactly that. So I do believe, absolutely, Joe, that your dog is still with you. I am not an animal communicator, though. It has happened on occasion. It sneaked in on a Facebook Live once. A cat came in, which was really cool and really exciting. And the interesting thing was, I could communicate with it exactly the same way that I can communicate with your grandmother. Because, of course, the spirit world don't have language. They don't have voice boxes. So all of it is energy that I'm receiving through my interpretation. So, yeah, it was good. It was funny. It took me by surprise. But generally speaking, I don't work that way yet. Who knows what's around the corner? Now, sorry, I don't know what's going on with my throat today. One more thing that I wanted to talk about, which is somebody messaged me, or I dreamt that they messaged me because I cannot find the message. I don't know what I've done with it, asking me if the spirit world have feelings. And this is such an interesting concept. I just want to explore it with you all. Now, I do believe, of course, that spirit world have feelings, but I do also believe that that is slightly detached. So your grandmother, for example, watching over you, she doesn't want you to suffer. She loves you. Of course, she feels something when she's in spirit and she sees you struggling, but equally, she's in a state of bliss. She's filled with the power of limitless potential, glory, power, love, all of those amazing things. So she's feeling it for you, but I don't believe that she is feeling it in a way that would upset or would imbalance her. And that's so interesting. I mean, we'll all have to chew this one over, won't we, and think about it. But that's what I believe. I believe that as soon as we leave this physical body, we are instantly in the spirit world, and we are instantly whole and healed. Whole, I can't even say it. Whole and healed. And because there is no time or space in the spirit world, it's every time they come through, it's like a slow blink. They are in the physical, and then all of a sudden they're home in the spirit world. And they can, yes, they have a life review, they look at the things they've done, they think about their choices, and they are healed from it. I agree with that, just like Melanie's book, Melanie Veers, who I interviewed. But it's an instantaneous thing because there is no time in the spirit world. And I do believe that souls have deep regret for their choices that they make on earth, whilst simultaneously being healed, whole, and loved in spite of those choices that they made on earth. I don't believe in anything like purgatory or people getting stuck, or I certainly do not believe that spirits get trapped on earth. I know that always triggers people. I await your emails telling me how I'm wrong, but I don't. I don't believe in a spirit world where the angels would let somebody get stuck on earth and not open a doorway for them. That still feels like judgment to me. So there we go. Now, hopefully, this has enlightened a exciting barrage of questions within you. And of course, I would always ask you to sit with them and your own guide team and see what resonates and what they want to teach you. But equally, if you would like a very slow response to your email question, 2 months turnaround, sorry everyone, please do drop me an email and I will get back to you eventually. It is podcast@hannahmedium.co.uk, podcast@hannahmedium.co.uk. Even better, if you're feeling super brave, you can voice record me a message and drop it over to my Facebook page on Mediumship Matters, and then you will hear yourself on this podcast. Doesn't that sound exciting? So yeah, drop over your questions, tell me what you don't agree with, and tell me why. Let's talk. This is how we all learn. I love a good debate. So there we go. Have a great day, and I will catch up all with you very soon.